You love videos, so here's a video. All right, so here's the data off the car. So you can see this is a pull that starts at around 3,700 RPM. We hit full boost at around 4,200 RPM in this particular pull. So you can see here on our right side, this is boost in millibar. The maximum the sensor can read is 2,550 millibar, which is about 23 psi of boost. It's actually a little bit more than that because we're at elevation. We lose about 3/4 of a psi because of where we are. So you can see it comes up on boost. It does taper slightly. You can see at the end of the run here where all these values change. In the middle of that 99 there is throttle. So after I let off, that's at 6,800 RPM more or less. You can see it tapers a little bit. We've bumped this up about 100 millibar or so, which is about a psi, and car is running really good. So this value here, ignition angle, so that's ignition advance in degrees, and what we're looking at here, so you see it starts at like 8.25, and then it goes to that 6.75 all the way through, and then at higher PM you can actually advance it a little bit more. And the fact that this value is dead nuts stable across that, like I said, that means that we're hitting our mapped values without any intervention. And you can see it slowly increases, from about 6.75 up to 15 and 17. It does that steadily. There's no drops or dips, which is, again, it's doing exactly what the map wants to. The value next to it is the injection time, which is the length in milliseconds that the fuel injectors are open. We're watching that because at something like 17.5 milliseconds, the fuel injectors are 17.5 milliseconds at 7,000 RPM, the injectors are maxed out. So you can see we're at about 16.68, which we're at about 90% capability on that. We have a little bit more lead time. We don't like to run things 100% because if you get a really cool day where it's dense or a little overboost, we don't want the car to go lean. Speaking of that, these you can see these actual lambda values. That's the left and the right banks of the motor. These are nice and rich, but are nice and steady. Not going lean, not going rich. They're just kind of doing what we want them to. And again, that's operating fine there. If the car was knocking, we'd see these numbers, dip down lower to around 0.70. Instead, we're at about 0.76 to 0.78, which is what we want to do. That's nice and rich and safe. Lastly is intake temperature. This is a pretty brief pull. So you can see we started out about 38 Celsius, which is just above ambient temperature now. It's about 100 Fahrenheit is what 38 is. And you can see as this pull goes along, by the end of the pull, we're up to 53, 54 degrees. So there has been a bit of an increase there, but well, you can see here. So my throttle pedal, it goes down, then it lifts up, then it goes down again. So I went through another pull. I think this is a 60 to 130 pull. I did third and then all the way to the top or midway into fourth. So you can see I continue and things get hotter and hotter, which is just, it's kind of the fact of life. But the good thing that we'd like to see is that you can see within, let's see how long since the end of the pull is this. So that's at about 17 minutes, 25 seconds. Or 17 o'clock, 25 seconds. I mean, you can see by 10 or 15 seconds later, these temperatures are dropping like a rock to right back where they were. With our intercoolers, we set up our intercoolers to be ideal for kind of road course and street use. They're smaller than the other ones, so they heat up faster, but they also cool down a lot faster as well. If you were on a track, you go down a straightaway, the temps would get up. But under braking and going into a corner when there's tons of airflow through the car the whole time, they recover and they reset pretty well. So again, I mean it was 92 degrees outside when I did this. So hope that gives some insight.